Hello everyone. The topic I am treating now is tension on a rope. That is force of tension on a rope, alright? I will now solve so many questions coming from tension on a rope so that anywhere you see any question concerning tension on a rope, you can solve it easily. Please make sure you watch to the end, okay? Now the question on board says, there is a 10 kg mass hanging from a rope. What is the tension in the rope if the acceleration of the mass is 0? B. Assume that there is an acceleration of 5 meters per second upward. C. Assume that there is an acceleration of 5 meters per second square downwards. Now remember that tension has a formula which says T equals to mg plus ma. So solving for question A, for example, using this from this formula, T stands for the force of tension, m stands for the mass that is hanging, g stands for acceleration due to gravity, m is the same m with this one, which is mass of the object hanging. Then a is the acceleration of the object if it's moving. But the question is say that this acceleration is 0 since the object is not moving, okay? Now let's calculate it. It will now be equals to m from the question is 10, which is our mass, times acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8, plus m, which is still the same mass, 10, times 0, because the acceleration of object is 0 since it's not moving. We now have 10 times 0 is 0, is gone. Then what we have now is 10 times 9.8, which will give us 98 Newton. The unit of tension is Newton. So this is the answer, okay? Then for B, they say assume that there is an acceleration of 5 meters per second square upward. I want you to understand this question number B, okay? If you tie a mass on a rope, then the weight of the mass will be acting downward while the force of the tension will be acting upward. So can you see that the force of tension is acting upward while the weight of the mass is acting downward? They are opposite, okay? Now if you are drawing the mass up, that means the mass is moving upward, meaning that the mass is moving in direction of the tension. You understand? So it is moving in direction of the tension, okay? Which is the question B. Is telling us assume that there is an acceleration of 5 meters per second square upward. This question means that the mass is now moving upward, okay? So the acceleration of this mass while moving upward is 5. And if a mass is moving upwards, we say that it is moving in the same direction with tension, since tension is acting upward. Therefore, this movement or this acceleration of the movement of this object upward is positive. Is what? Positive, since it is going in the same direction with the tension. And it is now, we now say tension equals to mass, which is 10, times the acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8, plus the same 10 times acceleration of the object, which is 5. It will now be equals to 10 times 9.8 is 98, plus 10 times 5, which is 50. Then it will now become equals to this plus this will give us 98 plus 50 will give us what? 148 Newton. So the answer is 148 Newton. For C, assume that there is an acceleration of 5 meters per second downwards. And we have to know that if the object is moving downward, it is moving opposite of the tension which we are calculating for. Therefore, the acceleration will be negative because it is moving opposite of the direction of the tension. Tension is acting upward while the mass is moving downward. They are opposite. So the acceleration have to be negative. So we now calculate it this way. T equals to the same 10, which is the mass, times 9.8 plus, in bracket, 10 times minus 5. Okay, minus 5, which this times this will give us 98. 10 times minus 5 will be minus 50, which will affect this one. Minus times plus is minus. So minus 50 we will now have, that minus will affect plus, because minus times plus is negative. So what will be here is minus 50. So the final answer now is 98 minus 50 is 48 Newton. So thank you so much. This is how to calculate it, okay? I will still be solving more and more, okay? So what you just do now is to make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on it, so that any post, any question I've solved, you will receive them when I post it. Thank you so much, and God bless.